Hey everybody, it's beau-hindman back with a quick video. I wanted to cover my latest build, my latest custom toy build, I should say. This is a large one, so it's going to take me just a minute to kind of get it all in the shot here. What this is if you know the toy company K'NEX, this is one of their building kits. It's you might notice it's from Titanfall, that video game that came out years ago, and I got two of these kits for about $14, and I combined two of them to make this great big thing here. What I was originally going to go for is I was originally going to take this and make it into a four-legged, four-armed beast, but I decided just to stick, because in order to really stretch it into four stretch it into four legs, it's going to end up having to, let me get this taken, there we go. It's going to end up making me add on parts that I didn't want to add on. Generally, when I do a custom toy, I want to only use parts that came with the toy kit. I think that's that's only appropriate. You know, that's what I want to stick to doing. Let me see if I can turn my little LED on here. Oh no, I broke it off. Anyway, my LED light goes in the little eyes here, but it must have broke off with the little glue. I'll mess with that later. But I'm going to light up the eye here a little bit. I still got to make the holes a little bit larger. I didn't paint the inside of it because I wasn't quite sure what to do there, so I might end up doing that. But I'll go over just a bit of what I did, and I'll go get the original, an original piece to show you what the original color was. One second. Okay, so here you have the original color and what the original toy looked like, which, as you can see, is it's pretty neat. It's not bad at all. But you see all those details, you just can't really see them unless you do something to the kit. And I thought it just really needed something. And I found the something that I needed, which was to paint it this nice red color. I just used a hand-brushed color. And then I did some basic washing and basic dry brushing on it. So just a quick paint job, really easy to do. You could do this in about, you know, I don't know, a couple days or so. What really took, this is just a wash, and the wash just gives it a greasy look. I had to glue a lot of parts. In fact, I'm having to go back and re-glue some parts because it can move and you can pose it, but it's not that it's fragile, it's just that these kind of hard rubber, it's almost a rubbery kind of plastic on some of these parts, does not really stick very well. And the parts that the legs are made out of, let me see if I can get a better picture here. The parts that the legs are made out of are also kind of a hard plastic, and so for that reason they're not real easy to glue. So I had to kind of finagle it quite a bit. I did add some real life wiring just in case, just to kind of give it a little bit touch of realism. I was going to add a lot more of that wiring. I've got some more in the middle here. Let me see if I can show you. You can just kind of see it in there. There's another big piece in there you can't quite see. So I added some wire. I was going to add some more LEDs and stuff to it. But again, I try to keep it, excuse me, I try to keep it as pure or as close to the original kit as I can get it, or to the original toy. I'm getting ready. I've done some other toy kits from, like, what's it called? Galador, which is one of my favorite toy kits from the early 2000s. Look those up. They're super chunky, and you can build giant spider monsters and stuff out of it. And I try to keep them and just use parts only that were built in, or that came with that kit or with that toy set. So as I had to kind of shoot it above because it's so big. But here's the gun. I just did a quick dry brush on this with a quick wash. As you can see, that's how it looks pretty good for how quickly. By the way, I don't know if you do this with your toys, but I really like to keep the date visible. I like to mark it. I like to keep it dated. I want it to look like a toy. I'm not trying to make an uber realistic looking item here. I'm trying to make something that if I was, to see this as a 12-year-old kid, as a 12-year-old beau or whatever, or heck, a 44-year-old beau, I would really want to pick it up and play with it or look at it. I've also got to make them where you can actually play with them. The only problem with this kit, or with this set, is since it's K'NEX, is that the name of them? It's a little bit loose. I've glued it, and I'll probably end up having to glue it again. The legs were not very sturdy in this kit. As you can see, they only connect to this little small area here. So I kind of have to keep them in a static position. You could have bent them and probably rebuilt them into a better position. but this was about this is how it was built in the instruction book. And so it's really the sturdiest way to do it. Now, if you notice here, I actually created these little, these are extra parts here, or extra, I made these parts. I created these pistons here. Let me see if I can get a better look there at them. And the pistons were supposed to go like this. Well, on the other foot, I didn't notice this until I was almost completely done. The other foot, they're on the wrong section. So it's kind of hard to tell there. But I don't mind mistakes like that. This was supposed to go here. I kind of like that they're different. Also, I used a different part. I think right in the middle. You can't quite see it. So there's a couple of little parts in there that as I was building them and had to get them all situated, it really just overwhelmed me, and I would sometimes forget that I had the wrong part. And so one of these I think is wrong here on the front, one of these little bags. I was even going to build a backpack with the other bags and stuff connected. These little holes here, I'm not quite sure what was supposed to go there, but there's not much that can go there. So what I'm hoping to do is maybe fill those in or something. I'll probably just leave it, honestly. I'm ready to move on to the next project. But like I said, I don't worry too much about seam lines. I did a few seam lines on the top. You can't quite see them. You're probably right there. They came out okay, but then the glue kind of messed with them a bit. So I didn't really worry too much about seam lines unless they're really, really horrible. Like on the original kit, you can see they're pretty tough. So I corrected some of those, but otherwise, it's supposed to look like a toy. It's not supposed to look perfect. It's supposed to look just like a cool toy. I'm not trying to make realism here because it's just too much work. One thing I had to do is each hand here, let me see if I can get a better view of that. Each hand was the fingers are all connected. So what I ended up having to do was literally saw and disconnect, or I should say, you know, take apart each little finger, and I had to do that with basically a hacksaw. So as you can see, each finger is individual. Now to make one bend, I had to cut the finger off and then reposition it, and I was thinking of doing that with all of the hands. The thumb, of course, moves like normal. It's a little tight, but the thumb does move normally. These move up and down. The group of 3 fingers move up and down. So you get a little bit movement in the hand, but I wanted to make one, and ideally what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to stand, and it holds this gun, and it also kind of leans on that gun, so it kind of gives it a little bit more sturdiness too. So I made it to kind of hold the gun in place there. So really, really a lot of fun. I have to say, the great vast majority of time, if you look in here, excuse me, if we can see the individual gears and stuff in there, I had to paint every single little part. So these are all yellow and white and really obnoxious colors, right? Because they're connects, and you can still see some parts that probably need to be redone. But that's what took the vast majority of time. I had to take the entire thing apart and paint every single part, that black kind of gunmetal, and then wash it, weather it a bit, and do all that fun stuff to it. I was going to even put some stuff in there in this little compartment. So that's basically what I did, is washed it, dry brushed it, painted it red. I still need to do the inside. I need to put the LED back in because it just fell out. And that's pretty much it. The vast majority of time on something this large is going to be painting the toy kit, your kind of base color that you want to paint it. But pretty cool though. I think it came out pretty nice. Let me know what you think. My next toy kit I think I'm going to be going on, custom toy kit, is going to be another Galador, great big spaceship that's going to have an evil half robot woman in it, and it's going to have lights and everything. This part I just added the arms onto the backpack using, I kind of finagled the parts, but the cool thing about Connects is they're kind of like Lego. Like that's not, I didn't have to chop those or anything. I just added those in, and then I had to glue them in place because as you can see, they're still a little crooked because they kind of fell a bit. So the kit itself, or the toy set itself, and Connects in general are not super sturdy. So probably what I'll do next time is I will probably go with a nice Lego kit and paint that, or do something like that. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments there. I'll be back with, I've got a custom Gundam kit I'm doing right now, and then I'm going to move on to the Galador, and I'll post that when I have it. But that's my big silly toy, me acting like a 12-year-old still. So let me know what you think. See you later. Bye-bye.